Russians dug the world's deepest hole. Last year I accidentally discovered the horrifying secret why. A year ago my work sent me to a small Russian fishing village located in Siberia. It's a tiny place populated by no more than 200 people, most of them fishermen or hunters. I particularly enjoyed the company of the village's only police officer, Vadim, who happened to speak at least a basic level of English. His job mostly consisted of escorting people home after they had a bit too much to drink, although he often partook in the drinking rather than stopping it. Needless to say, we quickly became good friends. We rather enjoyed ourselves in such a bizarre world, cut off from civilization. At least we did until the 9th month of our deployment. One of the local 7-year-old daughters had gone missing. Her name was Daria, and she had been out playing with her friends around an old abandoned building widely believed to be a Soviet-era silo. The whole structure had been closed off for almost 40 years and forgotten, yet the children loved hanging out in the area. On that particular day, the silo was open. The doors were broken down, which revealed a large room full of ancient equipment, and a large dark hole in the center. The hole measured about 50 feet in diameter, and the depth was unknown. There was a basic elevator platform in the center of the hole, like something used for descending mines. All that could be seen was endless darkness reaching into the abyss. Daria had fallen into it. I immediately knew in my heart that the fall had murdered her. A fall that deep, even if the bottom was a pool of water, it would be lethal. The other children insisted that Daria had called out for help after falling into the hole, which gave out false hope to the terrified mother. It was the first time I'd seen Vadim efficiently work to put together a rescue operation. Calling for official aid so far out was a hopeless task. Even if they sent help, they would arrive too late. Seeing as I had some experience in that field, alongside basic first aid, I volunteered, as did one of my colleagues, Stanley. While the mechanics attempted to revive the old machinery, including the elevator, I attached a sinker to a line in hopes of measuring the depth. The line wasn't long enough to determine where the bottom was, even though the longest ropes combined measured almost 1,000 feet. After a couple of hours, the mechanics announced that the elevator was ready, but they had found some sort of protective suit. According to the few documents found in the facility, the atmospheric pressure was quite high, and the temperatures reached up to 150 degree F. I knew then we would retrieve nothing but the body of a little girl for the family to bury. Gotov ready? Vadim asked us. The suits were poorly fitted to our slightly untrained figures, and chafed in places I didn't know it was possible. We entered the lift, which was protected by a rusty metal cage full of holes. We were given only one walkie-talkie to communicate with the people on the surface, in addition to some old flashlights. "We're ready. Lower us down," Stanley said. The gears running the elevator platform started churning. A clunky sound echoed through the room down the hole. There was a small screen on the elevator with numbers signifying the depth. It was an excruciatingly slow process, no more than a foot per second. However, the change in atmosphere was imminent. Then we started to descend. At 100 feet, the darkness had already enveloped us. The weak flashlights we had brought along hardly provided any light or comfort. "You think this dark? Wait till you see Winter Village," Vadim said, his usual dull humor. Me and Stanley both faked a chuckle. "Would you please check if the radio works, Vadim?" I asked. "It worked, no worry," he responded. At 500 feet, the walkie sounded for the first time since our descent almost 10 minutes ago. The Russian was heavy, and the static made it incomprehensible to a novice such as myself. "What was that, Vadim?" I asked. "Oh, they just ask how deep we are. Shouldn't we be able to hear them talking? We're only 500 feet down," Stanley asked. "Yes, something strange here," Vadim said. Other than the electrical hum of the ancient elevator, and the sound of Stanley nervously shifting his weight, we couldn't hear the chatter of people just above us. "Very strange," Vadim mumbled to himself. Something about Vadim seemed off. I had never seen him worried like that before. "Guys, is it getting really warm here or is it just me?" "Yeah, I'm sweating bullets already," I responded. Then we had hit 1,000 feet. "Pomagite!" a soft voice cried out.